All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we are tackling 30 words from the Oxford 5000.
And these are for, English language learners who are at the intermediate level.
Yeah, and I mean, even for native English speakers,
Yeah.
there's always, new shades of meaning, new ways to use words.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of language, isn't it? It's always evolving.
Yeah.
There's always something to discover.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. The first word we have here is chop.
Chod.
Now, when I think of chop, I think of chopping vegetables in the kitchen, but it has other meanings, right?
Definitely. Yeah, you think about like budgets, when they say, we're going to chop this program, we're going to chop the funding for this.
Right.
That means like a very quick and decisive cut.
Yeah, so you could have a sentence like, the funding for the music program was chopped.
Right.
Leaving many students disappointed.
Yeah.
Or like she chopped the article down to just a few key paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, he chopped wood for the fireplace all afternoon.
Exactly. And there's that sense of like forcefulness, like very decisive, quick action in that word.
Exactly. Okay, so our next word is chronic.
Chronic.
Now, I think of like chronic, someone has like a chronic illness.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's ongoing, persistent, and difficult to deal with. But it doesn't just apply to illness.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's anything that's kind of like persistent and hard to get rid of. So yeah, like a chronic illness is, a long-term illness. Mm-hmm. But then you can also say like, the city has a chronic problem with homelessness.
Right. Or he suffered from chronic pain after the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it can even be like a personality trait. You could say like she's the chronic procrastinator.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Our next word is chunk.
Chunk.
Now I think of like a big chunk of cheese, or chunk of concrete.
Yeah.
But it's,
But it doesn't have to be a physical object. It can be like, a chunk of time.
Right. So like I spent a big chunk of my day working on this project.
Uh-huh.
Or she took a chunk out of the competition's market share.
Yeah.
Or he broke off a chunk of concrete with a hammer.
And it usually refers to like a big amount, like a substantial, large amount of something.
Yes. Okay. Our next word is circuit.
Circuit.
And this one I think of like electrical circuits, right?
Right.
But it can be other things too.
Yeah, like a judge might travel on a circuit, between different courts.
Right. Or a band might go on tour and play in different cities on a circuit.
Exactly. And it's that idea of that closed loop, like a circular path.
Yeah. Okay. So if circuit is the path, then circulate is like the action of moving along that path.
Likely. Yeah.
Right. So blood circulates throughout the body.
Mm-hmm.
Rumors can circulate quickly through the office.
Mm-hmm.
A petition might circulate online and gather thousands of signatures.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have circulation.
Is circulation.
Which is the noun form of circulate. So you could say the library has a good circulation system ensuring books are available to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Or the magazine boasts a wide circulation reaching readers across the country.
Right.
And then again, exercise can improve blood circulation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's move into some words about belonging and community.
Okay.
The first one here is citizenship.
Citizenship.
And this is more than just holding a passport, right? It's about your rights and your responsibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about participating in society.
Yeah, so you could say she applied for citizenship after living in the country for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or he believes strongly in active citizenship, volunteering his time to local causes.
Right.
And historically, gaining Roman citizenship came with many privileges.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads us into civic duty.
Civic duty.
Which is, it's all about being an engaged member of your community.
Absolutely. So voting is civic duty.
Yes.
But it's also things like, attending town hall meetings, volunteering at a local shelter, even just staying informed about local issues.
Yeah, so she has a strong sense of civic pride, always working to improve her neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Or he believes that civic engagement is crucial for a healthy democracy.
Exactly.
Now, we got to be careful to distinguish civic from civilian.
Civilian.
The civilian that refers to anyone who's not in the military or police force.
Right. So you might hear on the news, several civilians were injured in the crossfire.
Right.
Or after retiring from the army, he transitioned to a civilian job.
Yeah. And sometimes we even use it to talk about like clothing styles.
Right. Like she prefers to wear, civilian clothes over uniforms.
Right. Okay. And then finally, for this little group of words, we have civilization.
Civilization.
And this is like, the big complex idea of human society and its advancements.
Yeah, we talk about, ancient civilizations like the Egyptians or the Romans, but it's also about, the ongoing process of human development.
Yeah, so the rise and fall of civilizations is a recurring theme in history.
Yeah.
Or technology has played a major role in shaping modern civilization.
Yeah, and you can even use it philosophically, like what does it mean to be civilized in the 21st century?
Okay, so now let's move into some words about communication.
Okay.
The first one here is clarify.
Clarify.
And how many times have we been in meetings and been like, okay, can you clarify that?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Right. So could you clarify your last point?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I follow.
Mm-hmm.
Or the instructions were very poorly written, so I asked customer service to clarify a few steps.
Right.
And sometimes it could be like a visual aid.
Yeah.
That helps to clarify something. The diagram helped to clarify how the machine worked.
Exactly.
And then, of course, we have clarity.
Clarity.
Which is that beautiful state of being clear and easily understood.
Yeah, it's what we all strive for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She spoke with great clarity and conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Or the artist's vision was expressed with remarkable clarity in her paintings.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like mental clarity. After a good night's sleep, I felt a renewed sense of clarity.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's move into a word that's kind of the opposite of clarity.
Okay.
Which is clash.
Clash.
And this, we think of clashing swords and battles and stuff.
Yeah.
But it can also be ideas.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the debate featured a clash of opinions on climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Or their personalities clashed, making it difficult to work together.
Right.
And even in fashion, you could say her outfit was a clash of colors and patterns.
Yeah, I was going to say you can have clashing patterns, little clashing.
Yeah, okay, so moving on, we have classification.
Classification.
And this is all about putting things into categories, making sense of the world.
Yeah, like organizing information.
Right.
Yeah.
So the library uses a detailed system for the classification of books, or scientists work on the classification of newly discovered species.
Right.
And even in everyday life, I'd classify that movie as a romantic comedy,
right,
but with a twist.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, of course, we have classify.
Classify.
Which is the verb form
of
classification.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to classify this new musical genre.
Yeah.
It blends elements of jazz rock and electronic music.
Right.
Or certain government documents are classified as top secret.
Exactly.
Okay, moving right along, we have cleaning.
Cleaning.
That never-ending task.
Oh, yeah, spring cleaning.
Yeah, spring cleaning is a ritual I both love and dread.
I know, right?
But maintaining a clean and organized workspace is important for productivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes you just got to call in the professionals. The company hired a professional cleaning crew to deal with the biohazard.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have clerk.
Clerk.
And I think of, the friendly clerk at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's who comes to mind.
Right. The clerk at the grocery store was super friendly and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Or, in a more office setting, he started his career as a file clerk, organizing mountains of paperwork. And of course, in like a legal setting, the court clerk reads the verdict aloud.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next word is cliff.
Cliff.
And I'm picturing, like a dramatic landscape with like a cliff overlooking the ocean.
Yeah.
The house was perched precariously on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
Overlooking the ocean.
Yeah. Or we hiked to the top of the cliff.
Yeah.
For a breathtaking view.
Yeah. And it can also be used metaphorically,
Right.
The company was on the cliff of bankruptcy, but they managed to turn things around.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next word is cling.
Cling.
And this is about holding on tight.
Yeah.
Both physically and metaphorically.
Right.
So like the child clung to her mother's hand in the crowded market. Or he clung to the hope that his lost cat would return home.
Right.
And even the wet shirt clung to his back uncomfortably.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's about like, that need for support or not wanting to let go of something.
Exactly. Okay, next word is clinic.
Clinic.
And this is, a place that offers healthcare services. You could have a dental clinic, a fertility clinic.
Right.
The free clinic provides essential medical services to the community. She volunteered at the animal clinic, caring for rescued pets.
Yeah.
And then there's the word clinical.
Clinical.
Which can be about, like clinical trials for new drugs.
Yeah, like healthcare related.
But it can also mean like unemotional.
Right, like he delivered the bad news with clinical precision.
Right.
No emotion.
Okay, our next word is clip.
Clip.
And this one's got a lot of different meanings.
Yeah.
So first of all, the little things that hold paper together, she used a paper clip to secure the stack of documents.
Right.
But then we also have clips of movies or songs.
Yes, like excerpts.
Yeah, they showed a clip from the upcoming documentary at the film festival. Or he shared a clip of his new song on social media.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she went to the salon to get her hair clipped.
And that's interesting, right? Because it's about like connecting things, but also cutting things apart.
Right.
Like taking a small part of something.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, our next word is closure.
Closure.
And this could be, like a practical thing.
Yeah, like a business closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The factory closure resulted in the loss of hundreds of jobs.
Right.
But then there's also that emotional need for closure.
Yeah.
After a difficult experience.
It's like after a breakup or a loss.
Right. Like he never received closure after his father's sudden disappearance.
Right.
Or she wrote a letter to her ex as a way of finding closure.
Yeah.
Okay, our next word is cluster.
Cluster.
And this is a grouping of similar things, right?
Yeah, you can have like a cluster of grapes.
Right. There was a cluster of colorful balloons at the entrance to the party.
A cluster of stars.
Right. The bees swarmed around the cluster of flowers in the garden.
Yeah.
And yeah, astronomers study clusters of stars.
Exactly.
Okay, our next word is coalition.
Coalition.
And this is when different groups come together for a common goal.
Yeah, it's about collaboration.
Right.
Teamwork.
So the political parties formed a coalition government after the election. Or the environmental coalition is lobbying for stricter regulations on pollution.
Right.
Or, on a global scale, an international coalition was formed to address the humanitarian crisis.
Exactly. And it's that idea that together they can achieve something that they couldn't alone.
Okay, let's take a trip to the coast with our next word, coastal.
Coastal.
Anything related to the coast, right?
Right. Coastal communities often rely on things like fishing and tourism.
Right. We took a scenic drive along the coastal highway.
Yeah.
Enjoying stunning views of the Pacific.
Absolutely.
And you could even say, the coastal region is known for its mild climate and abundant seafood.
Yeah, it just evokes that whole environment where the land meets the sea.
Exactly. Okay, speaking of the coast, I'm ready for a cocktail.
Cocktail.
Now, it's not just about, those fancy drinks with umbrellas.
Right.
It's any kind of mixed alcoholic drink.
Yeah, you could say, the restaurant offers a wide variety of cocktails.
Yeah.
Classic and signature cocktails.
Yeah. Or he's a skilled mixologist, able to create unique cocktail concoctions. They hosted a cocktail party to celebrate their anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move into the world of the mind with our next word, cognitive.
Cognitive.
This is all about, thinking, learning, remembering all those mental processes.
Yeah, all those brain functions.
Right. So cognitive psychology explores how we process information and make decisions.
Yeah.
As we age, it's important to engage in activities that challenge our cognitive abilities.
Right.
And in education, teachers are always finding new ways to enhance students' cognitive development.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a key concept in understanding how our minds work.
Okay, so now let's think about timing with our next word, coincide.
Coincide.
And this is about when things happen at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes intentionally, sometimes just by chance.
Right.
So the company's announcement coincided with a sharp drop in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Or by sheer coincidence, we bumped into each other at the airport. And sometimes it's planned.
Yeah.
The conference was scheduled to coincide with the industry trade show.
Exactly.
Okay. And that brings us to our last word, which is coincidence.
Coincidence.
And this is when two things happen at the same time, and it just seems so random and unlikely.
Yeah, it's like, what are the odds
Yes.
of that happening?
So it was a complete coincidence that they were both wearing the same outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Or the coincidences in the novel were so frequent that it strained the reader's belief.
Right.
And sometimes it just makes you think,
Yeah. Do you believe in coincidences, or is everything connected somehow?
Right. And that is a great question to leave our listeners with.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored 30 incredible words from the Oxford 5000.
And this is just the beginning.
Right.
There's so many more words out there to explore.
So keep those dictionaries handy, word enthusiasts. And we'll see you on our next deep dive.
See you next time.